All right, so your next fight, you'll be challenging for the Epic title against Daniel Reyes, who you already have a win on earlier on in your career. Since you already have one on the champ, how do you feel it's going to go this time?
Uh, right now I feel like it's gonna be, a completely different fight. That fight was almost 2 years ago, so we both like leveled up a bunch since then.
Yeah.
He's had some tough fights. I've had some good fights, so I'm planning on it being a war, and can't wait to get in there and fight Daniel again. He's a good opponent to have, and it's a great opportunity for me.
Yeah, for sure. Can you briefly describe what kind of your game plan is going into this fight?
I'm just trying to come and be the best version of myself. I feel like the best version of myself beats the best version of him. Of course, there's like little things, that we saw in some of his fights that we're gonna try to use, but and I'm sure, his coaches and they're game planning too. So just come and be the best version of myself, confident, ready to go.
hmm You train at Coastal Combat with some killers. Like I've interviewed before, Xavier, the Professor Vines. Can you
Yeah.
describe your average training day at Coastal Combat?
So it depends on the day. So like Mondays we'll do jujitsu, for or all right, I'll start out. So usually I get there around like 5, and then I'll do like a one-on-one session with Coach Jake, and then we will progress into practice after that, and then it's gonna be jujitsu group work, and then we'll do like some technique throughout the training session, and then at the end we'll usually live roll for a while. And then like Tuesdays and Thursdays we'll do Muay Thai. So I'll come in 5 again, hit mitts with Jake, whatever, getting ready for my fight. And then Muay Thai techniques, and then some light sparring at the end of practice. And then on Fridays we spar.
Nice. And what would you
Yeah.
say you're best at? What's your base?
I would definitely say I'm jujitsu based, like wrestling,
hmm
Yeah, I'm a
The
little better at
grappler.
that. But my striking has definitely leveled up though. So
hmm
in the time I've taken off. So
After challenging for the Epic title, where do you want to go from there?
well, after challenging for the Epic title, I actually have another fight September 9th for I think it's called Evolution Series Fight League. So I'm fighting for another belt then. But
Oh, nice.
oh, yeah. But right now I'm just trying to focus on August 11th,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've noticed you spent some time in the Marine Corps. What has that taught you, and how can you bring those lessons into the fight game?
Um so the Marine Corps taught me, just how to like take pride in everything I do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I kind of bring that into the fight game, that, and then it made my work ethic better because, I would have to like work all day, or, be at range at 2 a.m. and then, still have to go to practice, because I was fighting while I was in the Marine Corps. So it made you know, it made it a lot easier to train now, especially because I
Yeah,
don't
for
have to
sure.
get up that early and work all day and stuff. So
hmm
yeah,
How would you say you
but
balance? Oh, what were you gonna say?
oh, all good, all good.
How would you say you balance your personal life and your training life?
So when I was in the Marine Corps, it was a little more difficult, you know, uh, because like range days and whatever I had to do that day. But now, it's not so bad. I'm currently working at FedEx and going to college with my GI Bill getting paid. So like
hmm
I work the morning shift at FedEx, so I can basically train whenever I want to, and then with school, just find the time to study and stuff, and then you know I try to focus everything around training though, so I try to
Yeah.
have like my training times free.
hmm
Yeah.
And what originally inspired you to get into fighting?
So initially, I would say I remember I used to watch UFC Unleashed in like my basement a lot when I was a kid, but
Mhm.
I can remember a fight. The first live pay-per-view I watched was the fight I remember the most because I bet my uncle on it. It was Rampage Jackson versus Keith Jardine, and Rampage like destroyed Keith Jardine that fight, and then kind of entered my mind there, I guess. And then over time, I was a basketball player for a while, and then like my freshman year of high school, I was like, okay, I want to wrestle. So then I started wrestling, and then like through wrestling, that grew my competitive drive in combat sports. And then when I was like 18, there was, I wanted to train martial arts, but there was nowhere to train where I was from.
Hmm.
So I was like, well, I mean, how can I get out to, one of these states where I can train, or up to the city where I can train? Because I'm from a small town in the country, so there's nowhere to train. So joined the Marine Corps, got shipped to California, and
Hmm.
uh, called Coach Jordan, and ended up coming to Coastal Combat, which I was very fortunate. We have a very
Yeah.
good team, so
Yeah, that's a great story right there.
yeah.
How would you say you mentally prepare yourself for a fight and stepping into the octagon?
So me personally, I like to do like a lot of meditation and stuff. So like right now, I'm meditating like 2 times a day, just to kind of like control my mind a little bit.
Hmm.
And then as for like when the fight's about to happen, I know I'm gonna be like a little nervous, probably a little scared too. So I tell myself, I know them thoughts are gonna arise, and they always come up. And I have like little things that I do to prepare for those, and then when they come up, you just let them pass, and then just focus on the task at hand. And as soon as you start walking out, like, well, just 100% focus on getting the finish and winning the fight.
Yeah. An interesting question here. Would you say you were the most nervous for your first fight, or would you say like, as you have more fights, you get less nervous, or do you see that happening with you?
Yeah, I would say I was most nervous for my first fight for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, I see myself getting less nervous. The last time I fought, it was kind of like, okay, this is what I do now. The first time it was kind of like, what the hell am I getting myself into
Yeah.
here? So, yeah.
If you were to compare you, your style, and your training efforts to everybody else on the roster, what do you think sets you apart?
I just think how consistent I am with my training. I'm there every day, and I'm gonna show up and give my 100% that day. Obviously, it can't always be my best, but
Hmm.
whatever my 100% is that day, I'm gonna give. So, yeah, and I'm a hard worker, and I think I can outwork most of these guys.
Yeah. You think you can outpace everybody?
I don't know about outpace everybody, but I'll definitely be at training more than you.
Yeah.
And I'm not the most talented, but I'm gonna find a way to beat you because I'm at training every day. And
Hmm.
yeah.
What would you say your most memorable victory has been?
Mm, I would say probably the first time I beat Daniel.
Yeah.
Um, just because he was such a good opponent, and I was extremely nervous before that fight, like I explained. And you know, I I wasn't feeling too confident about that fight until I walked out, and then I was like, okay, we're gonna fight, and it's happening. So,
Hmm.
and then getting that win, yeah, for sure, Daniel. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's my biggest challenge so far, and he'll be my biggest challenge August 11th.
Yeah. This is going to be a great fight for sure. When you're making a game plan for an opponent, are you the one watching the footage, or do you leave it to your coach and then the coach implements it for you?
We both watched the footage,
Hmm.
so I'll tell him little things that I noticed, and then he will you know give me some pointers that he saw. So,
Yeah. What would you say
yeah.
your future goals and aspirations are in the future of your MMA career?
I just want to go as far as it can take me, and
Yeah.
whether that's the big show or just regional circuit pro. I would just want to see what I can do.
Hmm.
And I figure as long as I just stay consistent, disciplined, I'll make it somewhere.
Hmm. I got a question here about recovery. You're in a fight, you get completely beat up. You have adrenaline though right after the fight, so you don't really feel anything. But as soon as you calm down and you start to feel your body aching, how do you deal with that recovery process?
Yeah, so luckily I really haven't been beat up too much yet.
Hmm.
But uh I mean just I don't know, I usually just like lay around the next day, ice my stuff. I usually don't sleep the night after a fight.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if it's adrenaline or what. I can't go to sleep.
Hmm.
But um yeah, just lay around, ice it, rest the weekend, have a girl over, chill,
Hmm.
whatever.
Is there any like measures you take in training to prevent injuries right before a fight coming up?
Just training smart and and training with good training partners. You don't want to train with people who are just gonna be, ego spar you or ego roll you or whatever and put you, potentially like knock you out or whatever. You just want to good training partners. Like Xavier's perfect. Me and him have really good rounds. We know like how hard we can go with each other and stuff. So
Yeah. Have you had any setbacks in your career?
so I tore my MCL.
Mm,
So I had heal that up for like 3 months. And other than that, I've been pretty fortunate not to have any injuries.
yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. All right.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts you have for your fight August 11th for the championship belt in epic fighting against Daniel Reyes?
I just tell people tune in. It's gonna be a war.
Yeah.
I'm planning for a 3 round, firefight. It'll be a plethora of techniques, and it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I'm excited for it for sure. All right. Thank you for the interview. I appreciate it.